Right. So welcome. This is another video in the series on no code AI. In this, sorry, my camera here. All right. So this is another video on the series on no code AI, basically building, working with uh, AI models without coding. Not that there's anything wrong with coding. I love coding and math, but this is just a series on that as there are more of these solutions out there today. So today, in this video, I will cover replicate.com, one of my favorite for sure. So I will do a demonstration of how one of these works and what you can do with it. So this is a cloud platform that hosts and runs open source ML models with one-click deployment. This one is a paid service, but it's actually pretty reasonably priced. A lot of companies use this as their back end, the thing that they're using in the background for their models. Essentially, it's got you can deploy the model, train the model on the cloud at Replicate, and then via an API from your website or your Python script or your application, and a token, you can make requests to that model for, uh, you know, services, etc., to do some AI. So highlights, it runs models like Stable Diffusion, Llama models, Flux models. Uh, just used a simple API call to run powerful models. No training or infrastructure required. I mean, you can use the models that exist for inference, or you can fine-tune some models if you would like. Use case is going to be image generation, which is the example I will cover today. All right, so this one does take a little bit of training, and I think it costs to train about $2 to $3. I think it costs less, but I'll show you that as well. Um, it does take a little bit of time during training. So what I will do is I will start the training and then talk a little bit about the features of it until our model is finished with training. So let's go ahead and get started. This is the replicate dashboard. Basically, gives you a list of all your models. You can see I'm going to refresh the page. I'm already signed in via GitHub, my GitHub account. My balance is $1.30. So this is important because I'm about to train a model, and you will see at the end how much I've spent. So essentially what I will do is I will use a Flux model. You can use these docs as reference. There's a lot of documentation on different things that you can do with this. I'm going to move this one over here. So I will just do the fine-tune an image model. I already have a set of images. So essentially, I'll be able to give a prompt and say, I'm in this situation. Can you render an image like that? So can you make me look like a Jedi or something? All right, so I'm going to click on this. This is a pretty good guide of how to do this, right? So you can read through it if you'd like, a very nice tutorial on how to use this one. So I already have my data set ready. Did I do you have to zip the files, and I think I may have forgotten to do that. Just give me a second. So I'm going to go to my desktop. I have the data here, but I think, yeah, I forgot to create the zip. So I'm going to do data. Data. There you go. Enter. Press zip file. All right. That should be good. So now I'm going to go ahead and go back to this. So I will need to provide. So these are the steps. Step one, types of images. So it can be, it needs not that many images, about 10 images of yourself in different positions. Um, you need to zip your data to a zip file. You need to choose a trigger word, which essentially I will use our Calix, usually my user. That way you can refer to yourself. So our Calix as a Jedi Knight, uh, on a starship. And then you can create the models. This is no code, so essentially I will use the web-based interface for this one, which is what I'm clicking on here. All right, and here we are. So this is the training environment. So basically you can go here, select what you're going to do. So I'm going to create a new model. I'm going to make it public. I'm going to input the images. So they are in my desktop. So I'm going to go there. Data zip. Okay, I've added that. I'm going to use the trigger word, which is going to be our Calix. And like that. Got a few parameters and settings. I have to give it a model name, so I'm just gonna call it. Need some light here. I'm gonna call it no code, and it should be lowercase. No code. Oops. No code 2025. Just some name. That should work. All right. And that should be everything. There's a few fields, auto caption, etc., parameters, number of steps that you can set. But here I'm just going to use default parameters. I'm going to hit create training. Takes me to this page. So you can see it's been queued. I'm using a Flux model as my pre-trained model. It's got an H100 hardware from replicate. And then you got some of the parameters. It says it's running. Eventually it should update to start showing me the training process. You see that running there. Okay, here we are. So it's starting to produce some of the log files. And eventually it just starts doing the processing and giving you what percentage has been done. All right, so I'm just waiting. Okay, there's the zero count. Oh, wow. 67%. I think that's just loading. It's not usually that fast. It's loading the images. And that's like I said, I went a little bit fast, and that's because it does take a little bit to train. So while that's happening, a little bit. Okay. All the output of running so far, no issues that I can see. Just waiting to see Okay, so 1%, okay. 1%, 2%. All right, so it's starting to do the training now. I think it's up to 3%, 3%, 4%. All right, so let's assume it'll go well. So now we can go back. So this is, we'll just leave it to train for a while. This is the replicate website, so we can click on it. It takes us to, you can see it hasn't billed me yet. I'm still at 130. These are some of the models that I've done in the past. But essentially, it's a nice repo. Uh, it's like GitHub. It uses tokens and everything. But you host your models here. You can do the training here. I assume eventually Hugging Face will have something similar. Um, so this is, some of the models that I have worked on, and then my, public and private models and different tabs that are available. Predictions that I've done. Every time you do a prediction, it costs like 1 cent or 2 cents, I think. It's not very expensive. So if your business model would have to be, if you want to use something like this, customer comes in with some request, they pay you, and then you take that information and then you use that payment to pay Replicate for the processing. So that, there's various things here. We've looked at the dashboard, and then we can look at the docs or the blog, so where you can see a lot of the information that's available. So there's a lot of videos on different things that you can do with it. There's llama models in here for text processing and large language models. I just picked a nice, fun one for image generation. We can take a look at the blog, and you can see it's the latest tools from AI, like Google's Imagine 4 is on Replicate now, so they keep you informed of what's available. So OpenAI's models are available. They have NVIDIA H100s, which you saw I'm using one. So they're definitely growing. And then they have several articles here on different kinds of things. So I would say quite a lot of it is for image generation, but it's pretty interesting. You can obviously fine tune with your own data, which is what we're doing with our simple example here. So let's go back and check on it. Let's see where it's at. Okay, so it seems to be at 29%. So 1/3 of the way there. Third of the way there. So, but yeah, that's kind of the replicate as part of no code AI. We can go back to the docs, and you can see there's run a model from Python. So one thing that I like to do, since this is a no code AI series, I try not to use any coding or of any kind, but usually you can open a Python script. It's a very short little piece of code. You have to specify your API token for replicate, which would be something that you would set in the terminal. So it's not hard coded into your code. And then from the code, you just make a reference to your account and your model, and you have to learn how to pass the information to and from it. Okay. You can also run a model from Node.js for those web developers, or Google Colab. So yeah. And then many models are available here. Okay, we can go back, look at the models. Just clicked on that. Guess I'm going to go to my dashboard models. And yeah, so these are the models I have available. All right, so I think let's take a look at this for one more time. So it's still at 46%. So I think I'm going to just pause the video until it finishes. So let me see how I can do. right, so hopefully we are back. Gonna share the screen. And we can see the training is up to 97% at this point, 98%. But usually here, this will change once the training is complete. 99, so it should be finishing soon. 100%. Okay, and it says that it has finished and it has saved the model. We can see we have options. For instance, we could write it's simply this. So from your Python code, you write this, you provide the model, you give it a prompt, and you need to have established the API token, which is something like you create an environment variable, something like API token, and that's it. But in this case, because this is a no code AI example, I'm just going to run this from here. So run train model, click on that button. And now here, my image should appear and I can write a prompt. So I'm going to go ahead here and just write something prompt. So I'm going to say, it's a line here. So our Calix is Jedi Knight holding a lightsaber. All right. So we're going to take a look at that. So essentially now we run this prompt, and you want to be descriptive in your prompt as much as possible, but this is just a short demo. So let's see what it's doing. And there we go. And it's created an image, so it's used Flux, an AI model, to create that. And you can always generate more. Like if you click another time, it should give you a second, every time you run the same prompt, it generates another image. So there's a green stored there for some reason, right? You can definitely see, elements of my face. I'm in the forest holding a lightsaber. And this is a nice image, so I'm going to download it. Right? And so that's kind of the images that you generate are held in a link for a little while, and then after that, they are deleted. But okay, so that's basically it as far as this example. I'm going to go ahead. So that's replicate.com, a very powerful tool for no-code AI. All right, thank you for your time and have a great day.